Coming up on today's show.
So what I did was I found their logo and then I printed it out. And then what I did was I uh, put it onto the sheetrock and basically just cut it out, etched it all out onto the sheetrock and then cut out everything around it. And then from there, paint it all up. So I said, okay, I could do that for you. So I took it a step further and I asked her what her favorite song was. So instead of just doing random notes,
Mm-hmm.
I did notes of from a line from the song.
Oh, cool.
So this way she kind of had like that. So this way, not only was she be able to hang it up, it had like that hidden message to it as well.
Hi there. I'm April Paige, breaking down the what, when, where, and how creatives get their inspiration. I'm a big fan of the cursey words, and I've been a creative for 30 plus years in marketing and fine art. This is where creatives unite to break down the facts of creative life. Buckle up. Let's get lost in the world of creativity together. Welcome, everyone, to Artist Antics with April, where we talk to creatives about creativity. And today I'm very excited to sit down to talk to Sheetrock Artist, John Olexa. And he has 4 adult children. And he lives in Raleigh, North Carolina. He has been a sheetrock artist for almost 20 years. John has some college experience where he's obtained license in life and securities. We both have that same background. And he also is in process of completing a course from each of the Ivy League schools. He's got 2 more to go out of 6, so that's great. And he is a supervisor for a patient chart retrieval company by day and an entrepreneur in his spare time. His ultimate goal is he wants to bring his artwork out to the world, creating company logos on walls and be an artiste of the stars in interior design. So welcome, John. Thank you so much for having us today.
All right, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited personally to get into this because I've never heard of a sheetrock artist until I met you at that open mic, and I was like, "What are you talking about? We need to talk." So I love hearing the initial spark of the love of creation. So I'd like to hear, like, have you always been creative since you were young, and then lead us into how in the heck did you get into sheetrock art? Yeah.
I could definitely say I've had creativity since I was young. I mean, I still remember back when I was elementary school and my dad had these business cards and I would put some of them together and I would create flip books with them. So I would do that. There were times where we made 3D cards with baseball cards that we had, just little things like that. And and then I really got into this when one time watching something on, I think it was like HDTV or, something like that. And I saw something that they had that was like really cool on the wall. And it just gave me an idea to start putting it together. So I started to do it with my sports teams as something to start with. And I really liked it because I thought it was something cool because it had the layers to it. So it was that texture and it wasn't just like a normal type of artwork. So I think that's really what kept me going and inspired to do it.
Yeah, it's almost like sculpting. Is there any other? I mean, I've never heard of a sheetrock artist. Is there any other one? Are there more?
I haven't seen any, and I think that's what kind
Okay.
of drives me to do it because it's something different that I haven't seen done before.
Yeah, no, that's great. So how walk me through like your process. Like how do you start from the beginning, like with a client? How do you start in your initial conversations and then mock up and then, getting it on the wall? How does that work?
So I've had times where somebody had asked me to either put one together or I just either wanted to create one for someone. And so what I would do is I would look for a picture, unless it's something I already had, or I've even created a couple for like one time I was hanging up my artwork a uh, at a tattoo shop or like a tattoo shop that also they also had like an art area as well. So they wanted to see some of my, see an example. So what I did was I found their logo and then I printed it out. And then what I did was I put it onto the sheetrock and basically just cut it out, etch it all out onto the sheetrock and then cut out everything around it. And then from there, paint it all up. And that's like the last step before I do everything, before it comes to life, so to speak.
So what do you use? I'm so curious. Like, do you use spackle or like some kind of
Um,
what do you use?
so first I use a razor blade to cut
Okay.
into it.
Okay.
And then I either have like X-Acto knives or like little tools that I can kind of help chip it out depending on how much is, how much I'm cutting out of the piece. Because sometimes there may be a little bit, and then some that there's a lot. So depending on what I'm putting together, and once everything is ready to go, that's when I do the painting. And then there was a couple recently that I did actually use some spackle to add some extra layer to it, whether it was like around the frame part of it, or if I wanted like a certain part to like really stick out further from the rest of it, I would do that and then paint it. And then I've even used a little bit of resin recently, resin and
Ooh.
spray paint to kind of shiny up certain areas.
Yeah, no, resin's a difficult medium.
Yes, yes.
I've had my trials with it. Funny story. I had put some of my prints on a end table and poured some resin, epoxy. It's not quite resin, but epoxy resin,
Yeah.
um, on the table to give it that glass finish. And I went from the studio into the house just to do something for 5 minutes, and I came back out and there was a lizard stuck in
Oh my
the top
God.
of the thing, just looking at me with one eye. And I tried to pick him up, and he was he hit it ever so perfectly and got cured in there. And then I put a box over him and left a little note for my part-time art assistant and was like, Scott, please remove this. What's under this box? And then I got to work the next day and he was like, I got your note. Just tell me it's gone. He goes, yeah, he popped right out. I was like, no, 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 no. I don't want to know that. But apparently it dried him up. And, you know, my friends convinced me that people would want to buy it that way. And I thought they were crazy. And sure enough, I took it to my next show and somebody was so enthralled with that story that they bought it. I was like, I don't know anymore. It's just funny. But I'm curious, like, how do you get it to pop out? Like, I know you use a razor and stuff to get into the sheetrock, but how do you get it to come out? Or is it in? Am I
So so it is at most of them are just at the layer. And then what I'll do is the stuff that I cut out around it, I'm actually cutting into it.
I see. So it makes
So
it pop out because you're cutting
so it
away.
makes it yeah, so it makes it look like it
Mhm.
pops out.
I see. That's why I thought you used something on top. Okay. And then that's interesting. So how do you like finish it? Like, do you use just paint or do you have to seal it? Like, how does that work?
So yeah, for the longest time, that's what I would do is just paint it. That would be my last. I mean, I know the last few that I've done, it was a combination of either resin or like a sealer. That was so it was only within the past couple years that I've actually used those things that kind of took it to that next step. But I
Yeah.
do like how it has that glossy look to it.
Yeah.
But then yeah, also protects it to make sure that, nothing happens to it.
Yeah. Because it's, yeah, pretty permanent as opposed to canvas or whatever. So, um, gosh, I just have so many questions. So what surprised you most when you first started creating those? Like what came up that was a surprise for you? Or was there anything?
I think it was just how cool it looks because I mean, there's some of them that I do, and of course, when I first started, I'm like, all right, what am I getting myself into? But then
Mhm.
after I do it, and I'm like, wow, this came out better than I thought it would. And I think that's what I appreciate is because I'm like, okay, the end product should be, the end product's going to be pretty cool. So it's like, it helps you get through that grind of it. Because I mean, some of them, I would say they've probably ranged anywhere from 3 to 4 hours to about 20 hours. So there could be a lot of time put into it. But then
Yeah.
when that end product and you really like what it is,
Yeah.
and that and the fact of uh because a lot of them I've given as gifts, and just seeing how the reaction of the person of how much they enjoy it, like that just makes it all worth it.
Yeah. So how do you do that? You doing it on their home wall or you're actually giving them
Uh, yeah, giving them a piece.
I see. Okay. Got it. When you're doing logos on walls, what excites you about that direction? Like, I mean, because that could really apply to anything. And really, in my art head, I'm thinking, you could really do some fun and cool stuff with that. Like, not just with the cutting it away, but also bringing it out, making it stick out from the wall a little. I'm asking what excites you about moving in the logo direction.
Uh, well, I haven't got to do it on a wall yet. I would love to
Okay.
do that because I
Okay.
think that would be really cool because it would be nice that when I'm finished, to be able to, see people go by it and just say, and
Yeah.
just be able to look at it and say, I did that. That would
Yep.
be really cool to be able to do. So that's something I've wanted to do. I remember trying to get a hold of the CEO when I used to work at the hospital because I really wanted to do one there. Uh, so it would have been really cool to do one like on a big wall right there and just know that, I could, people would just walk by it on a consistent basis and be able to say like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah. No, that's great. So where do you get inspiration from? I know personally I get it from everywhere. When people ask me that, I'm just like everywhere, from TV, from ads, from billboards, from life, from songs, I get inspiration from everywhere. So where do you get your inspiration?
I think it's a little bit of everything. Like the ones that I've done for myself. Like if I've seen a really cool picture and I'm like, you know what, I want to turn that, I want to bring that one to life. So I would sit there, maybe print something out or if
What are
somebody.
some examples of that?
So I would probably say like some of the ones that I have right behind me. I
Okay.
had just seen those and I was, just thought it was really cool. So it
Yeah,
was
I
like,
really like the moon one. Yeah,
yeah, so
that's
that one was
super
like a
cool.
moon fairy, and it was like, that'd
Yeah.
be really cool. And you just add little things to it, whether it was, um, I think some of what I used was like a glitter glue for like the sheer of the dress, just little things that because I had done uh, one that I had done for someone was it had musical notes on it.
Mm-hmm.
And because I had made one for myself and she had seen a picture of it and she said she wanted one of like a bigger scale, a larger scale one. And so I said, okay, I could do that for you. So I took it a step further and I asked her what her favorite song was. So instead of just doing random notes,
Mm-hmm.
I did notes of from a line from the song.
Oh, cool.
So this way she kind of had like that. So this way, not only would she be able to hang it up, it had like that hidden message to it as well.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's important to connect it with meaning. I talk about that a lot in my blogs about, whenever you have artwork on your wall, you really have to have something that means something to you and your journey in this life, whether it was past, current, or future, facing you. When you walk in, you want something that makes you feel something, and it
Yeah.
not doesn't always have to be pleasant either. Like some people, want challenge or want to remember a hard time or something like that, to motivate them. So I talk about that a lot. Like art shouldn't match the couch. It should mean something to you, right? So, and I talk about this a lot with my guests. Like, do you experiment and play? I talk about adult play and how important it is when you're an artist to do that and experiment. Do you do that on the regular? Do you cut out time during the week to do that?
Uh, so if I am working on one, I will pick like certain times. So like let's say um, like the last one I did, someone that I knew had a birthday party coming. So I had taken some time and I was doing it for I guess at night during those times, after I was done work, got everything else done that I needed to. And so I put that together because I had found a picture of the two of them, and I was like, "Oh, that'd be perfect," So that'd be a nice present. So, and it was funny.
Yeah.
Right before she opened it, she asked me. She said, "So are you still doing that artwork that you were doing?" And I said, "Yeah." And then she opened it up, and then there there was one. So she's like,
Oh,
"Oh
that's
my
funny.
god."
That's great. So, do you have that sounds like a funny, I mean, you've already given me that funny story, but I always like to ask this. Do you have anything funny, ambitious, inspiring. Any other stories that you've worked with people that you want to share? And it's okay if you don't. You've given me a couple already.
I remember creating one that I gave to someone when I was working at the hospital, and uh, she had just beaten breast cancer, and I had actually just before that had created one with the pink ribbon on it too. So I was like, I think that would be really nice to give to her. So I had done that. Um, I
Yeah, no.
had, and then last year, I had created one because I was going to see Rob Schneider
Mm,
at a comedy club. So I wanted to bring one to him, and I was hoping to be able to get a picture with him. And I guess he wasn't. I guess he wasn't going to do like a meet and greet. So I had asked someone to give it to him, and
right.
then so that one I actually used a little bit of resin too for like because did one of his characters from the movie, one of his movies, and so I used it for the glasses, so it made it kind of pop out a little bit. So I had to give it to someone to give to him, and I asked the lady afterwards. I said, "So what do you think of it?" And she was like, "Yeah." He looked at it and he kind of laughed about it, because he saw what character it was.
Yeah,
And then the only thing I got upset about it, I left after I left there. I was like, "Oh shoot, I forgot to take a picture of it because I normally take a picture even before I give
right.
it away, and I
Right.
forgot to." So I was like, "I have no
Oh,
memory of it."
right.
So
That stinks when that happens.
yeah, so I hope he did get a chance to, I hope he did take it with him, and I hope it was something that was kind of meaningful. So,
Yeah, no, that's great. That's a good story. So I asked this question of all my guests as well. What do you think about AI and its involvement in creativity? I get the gamut of reactions. So I'm just curious what your thoughts are there.
uh, I think it's good uh, if it's used the correct way, like if people are using it to kind of assist them a bit, but
Hmm.
not to totally rely on it. Like, like still be able to use your creative flow, but if
Hmm.
you need it to kind of help you with something as like part of the way to help you,
Yeah.
then I think that it could be a good thing because
Yep.
I know it can be a huge benefit because I know growing up, it was before we had the internet and everything. So I would tell my kids like, "Hey, we had, if we needed information, we had to go to the library and get all
Right.
this. You guys have everything in the palm of your hands
Yeah.
right now." So,
You look at the encyclopedia and go, this was Google in back in the day. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, so as long as it's used correctly, I think it's good. But I don't, I just don't think people should just heavily rely on it
Yeah.
and not allow their creativity to be able to be expressed.
Yeah, I agree. It's a tool to be efficient. I don't think it's ever going to change that we want art from real human beings. There are people that want to buy AI art, and I'm fine with that as long as it's noted that it is AI art, and it's not
Yeah.
been created by human hands and just prompts, it's not what I consider real art, but that's my own personal opinion. But it's all about the prompts, really. Like to your point, like to help you be efficient. I was trying to use one of those art programs. It's called Doll E, like Dolly, but
Yeah.
the artist, but they made it into a software name. And they uh, haven't quite gotten there yet, but I tried to, pick a topic and merge two styles of other artists, longtime artists that it wouldn't be a copyright issue and merge them on this subject, and it wasn't great. I was like, no, no, no. So it was too literal, too logical, and I tried more prompts to get it to be more artistic, and it wouldn't. So I just thought that was pretty interesting. But if it can help me be efficient, and even if they get to the point where I can merge styles and look at something that I have an idea about before I even start, that really intrigues me because it'll help me, time wise of having to do all of the, you know, testing and working it out, or at least the beginning of working it out. I'll still have to do some drafts and initial sketches, but it'll start me in a better place than zero.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. And but I know that people are going to take advantage of it once it's, expanding exponentially now. So I know it's going to get to the point where you're going to have to really figure out how to determine what's AI and what's not. We're already doing that in some cases. I think, it's not good enough yet to where we can't tell as humans. I pretty much can tell when a video is not real, but
Yeah.
I think they're not far away from figuring that out. But anyway, well, I'm going to close it up there for us today. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you. And anybody who wants to get a hold of John, I'll put all of his links and contact information in the comments, in the description. I mean, not the comments, and you can get a hold of him that way. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Yeah. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Feel free to nominate yourself or someone you know as our next guest. Thank you for being a part of our creative community. Stay inspired and keep shining bright.